Testing 1 2. Okay, so everybody should have their leader's guide, and in the very beginning of this, there's a very nifty table of contents in there, and I want to kind of share with you what's in there. First, there's a full scope of the study, what it's meant to do, the teaching goals, the teaching environment, and your environment can change. So it does not have to be here at the church. You can do it at your home. You can do it at a coffee shop. You could do it online. I think one person has Andy Wilson in their group. He may be, you do? So we may need to figure out a way to bring him online because he's going to have to come in online. But I'll talk to you about that. I've got a Zoom account. We can get you all scheduled with that and get that worked in. We'll work with you on that. But and then the next thing is it has a suggested schedule for each lesson. Now this doesn't have to be, has to follow this. This is all about letting God lead your group, and who knows where conversations will lead. But there's a first one, and then there's another page for sessions 2 through 6. And I want to take you through how it would look. In the first session, you're going to arrive. Everybody can get everybody to take their seats, and the presenter is going to ask some questions, just to kind of break the ice, get the conversation going. Why are you taking this course? What's your favorite character in the book, in the Bible? And you don't have to use those, but something to kind of get conversation going, get everyone involved, right? Because this is really conversation driven. There's no book studies or anything to do. It's just conversation. Then you'll ask for prayers and concerns, and then you'll pray over the group, right? Or you can ask someone else to pray, but get somebody to pray for the group, and then you'll hand out the study sheets for each week, and we'll have all those for you next week with books. I think we're getting folders together with places where people can write notes and stuff like that, and you'll have the reflection guides for each one of the sessions, right? And they'll have them in their groups, and you've got copies of them in here where you can towards the back. If you look back at the contents, you'll see that towards the back there's the leadership guides. The participant lesson sheets, right? So you'll go through that, and then then you'll spend some time explaining how it's going to work, right? Someone's going to read the scripture, and then you'll ask one of the questions, and then you have a conversation around the question. Then when the conversation starts to wane off, you move to the next question. And all these questions are meant to kind of guide an open conversation of the group, okay? And then you go through the first question when all the questions are fully discussed, or when time runs out, because that's what I found the last time I did this. We got through maybe 2 of the scriptures, and we didn't get through the rest because the conversations were so rich. So when if the time runs out, or you get through all of it, then you go. You'll pray and stuff, and you'll invite everybody to reflect on what was discussed and any of the unanswered questions. Invite them to go and spend some time that week going through those questions and writing down answers for that. They don't have to do it, but it's a good way to do it. I skipped one part, and there's you'll ask what was your impressions of the sermon and stuff like that, what stood out to you at the beginning. The next is the next one. You'll take your seats, and then you'll kind of you do the same thing, but you'll ask everybody. You'll begin by last week. What was your biggest take of that week's lesson, to kind of connect everything together, right? And then you'll go back into the same process, asking for prayers and stuff like that. Does that make sense to everyone? Is that easy enough? So I want to take you through like one of the lessons, like knowing God. So you'll have in here your on each one, you can just go to the page of your week, not their the members or the participants' reflection guides, but your area, and you can literally follow it as you go. Introductions, prayer for praises, hand out materials, explain the study. So it takes you through everything, and then here's the reflections. So like the first one would be somebody reads First Chronicles. And then you ask, Consider this scripture for a moment and describe how you see God. What are God's characteristics? And then it's whoever wants to share. So that's how it's going to work. Now, in the towards the back, just in case somebody's like, well, what did they forget some part of the sermon or something like that? Just in case, all the sermons are already written and they're in the back of the book. So you've got a copy of the transcripts of the sermons. Now, granted, you know how preaching is. Sometimes things get added or left behind, but that will give you a good tool in case you need it. So it's there for you to use as a transcript, or if you're one that likes to study and to read, go ahead and read the sermons before you get there. But and see how closely I get to it or not, So any questions on how these operate? It's pretty simple, right? And so everyone will have their reflection guides. If for some reason somebody's missing one, you'll have copies of them in the back where you can go and make a copy of it just like that. So you'll have them available. Additionally, the next part I'm going to show you, everyone got a QR code. Anybody not get a QR code? Well, you two already got them. You got it's for the church center. So if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to download an app, which is our new Church Center app. And I want to share with you some of the amazing things that this thing will do for you. We have not officially rolled it out. Our plan is to roll it out with the directory, but we felt that this would be a good tool in helping you communicate with your group and also keeping track of everything, right? So in the bottom, there's a spot right there that says groups, and these are all the groups that I'm a part of, and I'm going to pick on the staff because that's who I get to pick on all the time. So in here, you'll see that there's schedules for our meetings, when we're going to have our staff meetings. There's a chat function so that they can, so that we, depending on what the subject is, if we're talking about, like we're getting ready to start really leaning into Advent. Can you believe that? Advent's around the corner. And so we maybe have a chat about different things that we're brainstorming for Advent or whatever it is. You'll be able to have a chat function in here. So if somebody during the week says, hey, we were talking about this in our group and this just happened, there's a function where all that can be, or you can send reminders. And in here, there's a place right here that says resources at the very top. And in here, in this resources tab, I'm going to, ahead of you, put your reflection guide, this thing that you got right here, in a digital form. In case you lose it, you can download it right there. And all the reflection guides will be in there as well. So if somebody else loses it, you can either make a copy from your book or you can just print it from your computer. So we're going to make sure that you have everything that you need, and it'll be right there in your app, okay? And then the last thing, this is probably going to be the most useful thing for you. The last one is members. In here, we'll have the names of everybody that's a member of your group. And I'm going to pick on Lauren because she's sitting right there. I can click on Lauren, and it brings up her contact information. It shows me her attendance record and all that stuff. You'll be able to take attendance if you choose to. You don't need to, but for our staff meetings, we take attendance. And if I want to get in touch with her, I can either click on her email or click on her phone. It says call phone number, text copy phone number, or cancel. And I can call her number right there, just like that. And where'd she go? She's getting a phone call from me. Oh, she sent me the voicemail. Devin, you got your phone on you? You do not. Oh, well, let's see. You got yours? Which group are you in? Altar Guild. Okay. We'll go to Altar Guild. I'm going to show you members. You got your, what do you call it? Your ringer on. So bam. So I just did it like that. I don't know her number by heart. Oh, you can tell her. So that right there is going to be a great function. So if you miss somebody that week, you don't need to know their phone number. You can literally go to your group and do it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and I gave you a list of everybody that's in your group that has their phone number and email right there, just in case for that. So you can still use email for that too. But yeah, And what you can also do is when you get your group together for that week, you can designate someone as someone who will manage those communications for you too. So you can get them to download it. And I gave you a copy of the QR code so that you can get your groups to download that. They're already in the group. So does anybody have theirs downloaded yet? All right. And if you hit groups at the very bottom, you should see your group there. There's a little button right at the very bottom center. Do you see it? Yep, that's it right there. Right there is your group. And so now you have all that access right now for everything that's in there. Does that make sense? Anybody else see that? Okay. All right. Okay, you're in the chat function. Okay, you haven't downloaded the app yet.
Okay, I
So-
gotta download the app.
Yeah, download the app.
Okay,
I'll find it for you.
okay. I just wanna make sure, so, and we could have people in the group like, my sisters and all that?
Yes.
My sisters and all that stuff, we could do all that. Do we have?
Here, it's downloading right there.
Okay.
And then once it finishes, just open it up and it just hit open right there. And now you'll yep, get started. Yes, there you go, for while using this app, and it'll find our church, and find the one that has our church on it. Here we are. Click on that one. And then once you get through all this, once you get logged in, it'll be good forever. Put your phone number in. That's provided we have the right phone number in there. Mm-hmm. So any questions on the groups right now? Now, if you want to play with the app, it's got some cool things on there. We actually have our online giving on there now. So you can give online with the giving part. It's also got a calendar on there. So all of the events that are scheduled in our calendar populate on there. And if you like one, you can bookmark it, and the app will remind you that there's an event coming on. So like if you want to get involved in Night Strike, it's on our calendar. It's this Friday, that's right. If you want to get involved in Night Strike, you can go in there, bookmark it, and it'll remind you that Night Strike's coming up so you don't forget. And then if you hit the more, there's a directory. Right now it's an opt-in. It's very small because it's an opt-in only directory. Only the information that people want to share will be in the directory. And we're going to be really launching that coming soon in October, right, Nora? Yeah, so Nora's part of the directory team. So, but we'll have a video coming out next week about that and stuff like that. So you got a directory, and then worship services. If you missed a worship, whatever, on this app, you can click that and go back to all of our YouTube videos and be able to see all of our old worship services. Pretty nifty, right? And then on the top right, there's a little icon for your, which with your picture on it, or probably a letter. And that right there is your profile picture, your profile, and you can go into your profile and adjust all of it. If there's anything in there wrong, you can edit it. If you only want to share your telephone number, not your address, you can manage all of that. So you'll have complete control over your information. We're not going to disseminate it to anyone without your permission. But that's the app. That's the class. Are there any questions? Yes. Very good question. I should have brought that up at the beginning. So the first sermon is this next Sunday, the 7th, right? And your class should be any time after that Sunday. Yes. Yeah, you can contact them, get a scheduled place and time that fits for everybody's schedule. If we have to move some people around, just let the office know. We can help you with that, no problem. But we're going to be making sure that everybody's where they need to be. If you know some people that aren't signed up and you want to invite them to your group, you can do that too. But let's say you're involved in a Sunday school class in the morning that wants to be involved in this as well. They would be studying last week's sermon this week because they meet before worship. So the sermon happened. They'd go a whole week because you don't want to do the study before you've heard the sermon, right? So they would be like a week behind. So that's how that would be the worst case scenario. I think the latest our groups are Wednesday. I don't think we have any Fridays or Saturdays or Thursdays. We had a couple people sign up as that available, but with the way it all worked out. We're trying to keep the groups below 8. If it creeps up over that, that's okay. But the reason why we do that is because when you get to about 7 or 8 people, sometimes the conversation gets hijacked by 1 or 2 people. You know what I mean? So ideally, 4 to 5 people is like perfect, but we're trying to keep them under 8. If you get a group and you've got 9 people coming and they all want to stay together and there's no problem, go right ahead. But we try to do that. Just you as a facilitator, try to help them be engaged in the conversation. If you see somebody not talking, say something like, well, what do you feel about this? Right? And if they don't want to share, you don't have to make them share. One last thing. So the idea of this program is to do 2 things. One is to connect the church with a specific way of engaging the sermon for retention. And the subjects are these are basic Christian ideals and understandings, knowing God, knowing each other, why it's important that we're in community with each other, knowing God's word. I mean, we're a people that believes this Bible. We should learn the Bible and know what it says, right? Learning what it means to obey God and serve God and hear God, to have that prayer life. So these are essential Christian doctrines that we should do. So we want those to be ingrained in people. So the first thing is to really highlight those topics and have deep discussions where it will be lasting in our life. And the other is an opportunity to form small groups. What happens when you get groups together like this, you often have people that aren't part of a small group that are afraid to step into a small group. Has anybody ever joined a small group that was already established? Like the first month to a year, you feel kind of like an outsider, you know what I mean? And for introverted people, that could be really difficult, stepping into a small group. Well, with this, it's only 6 weeks of commitment. So if they don't like you, they only have to deal with you for 6 weeks, right? Right? But it invites them with a very, very little commitment. But after the 6 weeks are done, you may find that you love your group, you love sharing with each other, and you may want to continue this on. Or maybe some of them want to, or all of them, or maybe they want to include other people. This is an opportunity to build new small groups. And I really encourage you towards the end of this to really be talking about that. Gauge the group and say, how are we feeling? We're only 2 weeks until this is over. Do we want to continue doing something? Because I can start getting with the office and find some other curriculum. Maybe we can pick a book in the Bible to study or whatever we want to do. Maybe we just want to meet at this time weekly to pray for each other. And it could be simple as that. But you'll start to see that gauging. And if you see that interest in people connecting that way, take that opportunity. This group doesn't have to end after 6 weeks. It can, but it doesn't have to. But that depends on the dynamics of your group. Any other questions?
So are they going to get the sheets that we're getting next week?
Yes.
Are they going to have the questions in the scripture ahead of time?
Yes.
So that way they can
Yes.
blocks they've written down or whatnot.
So next week we should have all those packeted together, and we'll have them in the narthex. And so when you come to church next Sunday, just go pick up the ones that you need. I do recommend you take 1 or 2 extras just in case somebody shows up, to your group. If they're online, they'll have access to it through the app and stuff like that, or you can email it to them too. You'll have access to where you can download and email them if need be too. Okay.
So we have to establish all these people ourselves, or do we meet at the church or different places, like what's on this list?
You talk to your group and find out when. Yeah. Yeah, because there may be some people that want to just go to the local coffee shop and do it, and that's great too. And in fact, I encourage going and meeting outside of the church, mainly because then you don't have to worry about getting in here. We can arrange that. That's not a problem. But having a study like that in community says a lot. It really says a lot. It shows that you're unashamed of the gospel, and it also invites others who may overhear your conversation and want to join in. And who knows, they may become part of your group. So last year when we did it, we had one group that met for coffee in the mornings, and my understanding is they still meet for coffee in the mornings mornings once a week. And there was another one that they went over to different houses, and the host house was serving dinner for them, and then they did the study. So sky's the limit. However you want to do it, whatever God puts on your heart. There's so many ways that this can be done. All right. Any other questions? All right, that's all I've got. And if any questions arise, you should have my email address. If not, just call the office and we'll get you taken care of. Okay, thank you so much for being willing to lead this. This is such a great thing.